Have you ever had a day that objectively felt good, but still was disappointing? Like you did a lot, but somehow it still wasn't enough. I often felt this way until I realized that there was something that was holding me back from actually being satisfied. Because this isn't only about productivity, it's about how your whole life feels like. Because no matter how good your life looks from the outside, or how much money you make, or even how good your relationships are, you will still feel like shit if you fall into this one pattern. Because usually the problem isn't your life, it's how you choose to measure it. And I know how this feels. Often I have finished everything I planned for the day. I went to the gym, I got my work done, maybe even moved closer to something I really cared about. However, at the end of the day, my mind still immediately switched to the thing that was missing. What else I should have done by now? What else I should be by now? And this is where things get weird. Because high expectations can actually be the thing that help you to work harder. But at the same time, they can also change how you experience everything along the way. However, I think there's a subtle difference between having high expectations and having high standards. And this makes the whole difference between actually making progress and feeling good about yourself, or making progress and constantly feeling unsatisfied. If you're watching this video, you're probably an ambitious person. And probably you also have big goals. And I would argue, of course, there's nothing wrong with that. Don't stop being ambitious. The question is just how you channel your ambition. Because the thing is, having big goals is often actually the thing that inspires action, that inspires the action that make big change even possible. So stopping to have goals or high standards is not the solution. Because what makes progress feel invisible and constantly lets you feel like you are behind are not your goals. They are unrealistic expectations. Because let me give you an example. At the time where I started my first side hustle and tried to get copywriting clients, this was also the time where I simultaneously tried to be good in school, make progress in the gym, make progress in playing the piano, learn kickboxing, and stay consistent on these habits like journaling, reading, and meditating. And what I expected of myself was to make progress in all of these different things at the same time. Maybe that's an extreme example, but I'm sure you also know this situation. Because what that led me towards was a day where I stood up, went to the gym, went to school, went home, worked, went to the gym, got home, ate something, and went to bed. So I constantly did stuff. I didn't let myself rest, and when I lay in bed at night, I still felt disappointed. Like I didn't do enough, even though I constantly did stuff all day. And that's maybe also what makes you constantly unsatisfied with yourself. That you just have unrealistic expectations for yourself. Like I said, the problem isn't having big goals or high standards. The problem is having unrealistic expectations. Expectations you can't live up to. Because listen, how good you feel about something isn't determined by how good it actually is. It's determined by how good you expected it to be. I repeat that for you. How good you feel about something isn't determined by how good it actually is. It's determined by how good you expected it to be. And you see this all the time. Let's say you're a pretty productive person and want to get stuff done that takes you 10 hours. But now you expect of yourself that you get this stuff done in 5 hours. And even if you get this stuff done in 7 hours, which is way faster than usual, you still feel slow. But the thing is, this doesn't only apply to your work or how you feel about yourself. This applies to pretty much everything in your life. And this is where it stops just being about how productive you are. Like we said, it applies to the expectations you have for yourself, what you should do, but this also applies for the expectations you have for your life, what you think your life should look right now. And if those expectations are off, if you think you should be somewhere else right now, of course, you will also feel bad about that. And this can apply to everything. If you expect your vacation to be better than it actually is, you will still feel bad about it. But it also applies to your relationships. Maybe you have really good friends, but if you expect them to be more than they are, you still will feel bad about them, or even resentful. Or if you are in the best relationship you ever had, but you expect even more of them, it will still feel not enough. Or if you have a pretty good relationship to your parents, but you think it should be better and there should never be any friction, nothing will ever feel enough. This isn't about setting your expectations extremely low for everything and everyone. This is about having realistic expectations and sometimes actually lowering your expectations a bit. Having more realistic expectations for myself was the thing that made me more satisfied, that made me stop beating myself up so much. Because think about this. If you expect the impossible, even the best possible outcome will feel disappointing.